Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of JALEN Says, and today we're with Keith Burke.
Hey, how's it going?
Great, how are you?
Oh, I can't complain, Happy to be here with you.
Nice, how's your day been going?
I had an audition earlier, self-tape for a commercial, so that's always a positive thing. But it's been good. It's been good. How about you?
Great, I just got with a new agency.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Congratulations.
So, I see your name. Is that your IG?
Yes, sir. That's my
Oh,
IG, Keith_Burke_official.
so thank you for being on here.
Man, thank you for having me, Jalen. I appreciate it.
So, you may have seen this guy on the Half and Half Nots. He played in Half and Half Nots. He was I watched some of it. I only the
Oh
stuff I
yeah?
could see, only the stuff I could see. But I saw you in it,
Oh, that's
and
awesome. That's awesome. I was shocked that you had seen some of it because it gets a little racy on our show, but that's cool that you at least got to see some of the stuff because it's not all that way. That's great.
nice. So, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I'm Keith Burke. Come from Philadelphia. I hail from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I've been in Los Angeles now for close to 25 years, and it's just been an amazing journey. I think for any actor that picks up and moves clear across the country, you're basically embarking on an adventure, and so it's been an adventure, to say the least.
That's incredible. So, I heard you've been doing a little stuff called Life and Lemmings. Can you tell
Oh,
us
Life
what
and
that's
Lemons,
about?
yeah, yeah. It's a short film that some friends of mine, some actor friends, D. Elliott Wood, Sandra Thigpen Ferrari. It's a host of us that got together during the pandemic. Actually, when things really started to first hit and everything was kind of shut down, and then when it kind of sunk in and everybody was on this kind of, okay, so we can't go near anybody really, and so a buddy of mine, Elliot Woods, had called and said, I have this idea for this short that I wrote, and I think we could pull it off with social distancing. And that actually came about because we were doing some of my self tapes. He was shooting some of my self tapes, and we were able to do it with social distancing. So we did that, and it's been a real great response. We were just in a film festival in Atlanta, the Peachtree Film Festival,
So, how's
and
that?
oh, it was great. So far we've won a couple of awards, and it's been out for just maybe 2 months now. Let's see, no, we're in November now, so it's been about a little over 3 or 4 months, and it's great. It gave us something to keep us sane, while being like kind of on house arrest for the most part, and not being able to do stuff that we do what we love to do, which is audition and go out and work on films that jobs that we actually audition for. It was great to be creative. It kept us in that space.
So, what awards did you win?
Well, wow, let's see. You're getting me because he was supposed to send me a list of everything as it was coming in, and I had some stuff on my Facebook page. I hate when I'm not prepared like I want to be, but so far, let's see. We won. Uh, let's see. This is the Peachtree. Okay, so for the Peachtree Village International Film Festival, um, that was a national domestic violence situation. So our film deals with domestic violence, and we were official selection for the LA Shorts Award, an official selection for the Lonely Wolf London International Film Festival, the Studio City Film Festival, and let's see, there was some more. Official selection for the Florence Film Awards and for the CKF. What that stands for, I'm not exactly sure, but it was an official selection. And we also, like I said, we won the LA Shorts Award, which is great. Especially since, things have been shut down. And so there hasn't really been, it's not like people have to kind of go online to view all the films. They can't, go out. You can't host your friends and bring them out to see your stuff now. So it's just, I was surprised. I mean, honestly, I think most of us was doing the film to kind of, like I said, just kind of stay sane, stay creative. So when we, received this kind of response, it's been an unexpected joy, I guess you could say.
So, can you tell me what really started your urge for acting? What sparked that
Wow.
urge inside you?
Honestly, um, I think I've always, from being, God, as early as 9, like my mom was telling me I was going to be an actor. My goal was to be a football player in the NFL. She was like, "No, you're going to be an actor." I was doing, like the church plays and stuff like that, and she was like, "I see you. I see that for you. I just really do." And I guess mothers know, and we kind of have to defer to that sometimes. But I've always been a lover of film. Always, music and film were my two biggest loves. Things that I just draw so much inspiration from. And over the years, seeing people that look like me, people that I knew, like from Will Smith to just different people that I saw that embarked on an acting career that were from where I was from. It gave me the courage to think outside the box and think that might be for me. And then I had some people suggest that it's something that I should go for. And then once I started really taking acting classes and getting into stories, and I just fell in love with it. I find it to be such an amazing form of expression. I mean, I think that you really kind of have to love this craft in order to have longevity, because it demands so much from you. And it's like any art, as you well know. It requires a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, and like they say, if you do what you love, you truly will never work a day in your life. But it does require a lot of hard work. So yeah, mom, I can credit with being my inspiration.
So, before you said you love music
Hmm.
and art. So, have you played any music? Have you are you
Yeah,
playing any music?
I started out playing the piano like yourself, but not I didn't get to the level that you are. But that was I started playing things by ear, by ear. And my father invested in piano lessons, and I really liked it. Um, but then I was joined I was auditioned and got in the Philadelphia Boys Choir, and being in the Philadelphia Boys Choir, having that knowledge of the piano and the notes, and it helped me so much with being able to read sheet music, for vocals and things like that. And just the process and the commitment and the joy that I saw that brought people. We traveled around the city, around the world, and to see the joy that it brought people when they heard music and how it affected them, even if they didn't understand the words. You go to a different country and people don't speak your language, but they're so moved by the emotion of the music, and the joy or the excitement of the music. And I just think it transcends language. And so I just have always been growing up in Philadelphia, that Philly sound, and having all those groups from the Teddy Pendergrasses to the Patti LaBelles to you just go on and on. That that Philly sound that we're known for is soul music. And I think that it just it just opened that part of me up to be available to the music of whether it's music that you play or music of a piece of a stage play or film. So I just think that seed that was planted a long time ago is still flourishing, and I'm just grateful for having that exposed. It's so important to expose our children to music and the arts. It keeps us sane. It's what's kept me sane during all of this madness.
So, can you tell me about your family? I know that's one of the things that should keep you sane or insane,
Well,
depending.
I mean, my family, my parents are deceased now. And but my brother, who just passed away last year, I have a older sister and a younger sister, and I, the rest of my family has been an amazing support system. I mean, they're always on social media cheering me on. They're always sending love. They're always, when I used to go to Philly, I never forget what Don B. Welch plays. He's from Philly as well. When we would hit Philly, like my family would come out in full force to support whatever I was doing. I'm very fortunate to have such an amazing, wonderful family. Shout out to my family, because we all have issues. We all have, our problems within our family. But at the end of the day, when your back is against the wall, my back is against the wall, I do have a family that I can say I can count on. And that means the world to me. And an amazing, group of family friends that have been my friends since I was, your age and younger, that are still in my life till today, that I consider family. And, so my family, we're some characters. I mean, we wear our hearts on our sleeves. We speak the truth. We say how we feel. And honestly, most of it comes from the best part of us, just wanting to see a better day, a brighter day, especially for the people in our communities. We want to see something better. And I have family members that are out there making waves, doing things and making things happen. And I'm really proud of them. So, I'm just grateful for them. They give me strength. I can lean on them, when things get a little thin out here.
So, someone just asked you, what was the name of the domestic violence film?
Life in Lemons, actually. Yeah, and it was interesting. Like I said, we shot it using, the social distancing and different things like that. And it's a short film, and it's on YouTube. So it's not, it's easy to find. Excuse me. But it definitely deals with domestic violence. And sometimes, the interesting thing about it is it's the silent screams. People sometimes can't say what they're going through, and it's almost like they're looking at you, hoping that you see what they're going through. And this kind of examines those possibilities, what can happen, and how things can end up turning out. And it's an interesting piece. I'm grateful to have been a part of it.
So I also heard you're also in Have and Have Nots. That was an amazing thing. I saw you a ton of times. I already said this, but I saw you. I was binging a little bit of it. But I saw you. I still need to see more. I'm still gonna see more. Even
Awesome.
though
Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you. I mean, uh, it's been really wonderful getting the yeses, because the thing about acting, there is literally no other. uh I think the arts is where people, and especially, in acting, deal probably with more rejection than people could ever fathom. Like they say, like, the average actor, I think, in 1 year goes through more rejection in, I think, a 1 or 2 year period than most people go through in a lifetime, in their entire lifetime. There's just, you're constantly putting together your best, you're putting it out there. And there are times when, it's not about you. It's not like, oh, we don't want him or her. It's just that it goes to where it's supposed to go, oftentimes where the universe had plans for it to go, and you just have to be accepting of that. But it doesn't erase the disappointment and the heaviness that you feel when sometimes you have your heart set on certain projects, or things like that, or what those things will provide for you and your family. So, you have to have a thick skin. Like I said, you really have to love what you do, because there's really no rhyme or reason to deal with that amount of rejection in the course of. But I think that, we learn from any failures if we're smart enough to see them as opportunities. And, we're able to understand that where we're meant to be in this life, as long as we're moving on the path and we're being diligent about, our goals, we'll go exactly where we're supposed to be most of the time. I really do feel like the things that we end up doing were predestined, and it's just a matter of us being open and accepting those things. So I think that it continues to be a journey that I'm just grateful to be on.
so, after quarantine,
Hmm.
do you think of traveling anywhere? Like,
Oh, yes, somewhere, anywhere, somewhere with some sun. And I mean, I live in California, but there's nothing like just being somewhere where you're just thousands of miles away on some, white sand beaches and some, but I also too, want to see some other parts of the world. It's like I want to go to Egypt. I want to go, to there's certain parts of Africa I still want to see. And definitely, I just want to travel more, because if I've learned anything from this pandemic, it's just that things can stop at any time, and those things can be taken away permanently. And so, I want to make sure that I do more traveling with myself, my family, my sons, and have the opportunity to share those experiences, because, we learn so much more about what we see, and we have the ability to, just my mind would not be what it is had I not traveled at a young age. I mean, it kept, because if we only know what we see around us on a daily basis, it really limits, you know what I mean, what we can see, what we can bring to the world. And I think seeing other cultures and speaking with other people, it really makes a difference in how we respond and how we view the world, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna plug this in because my computer's trying to die. Sorry, thought it was charged up. I'm listening though.
So, after quarantine, are you gonna like have new traits, like a new thing you're doing, like cooking?
Oh man, I think during this pandemic, I love to cook, and I used to love the barbecue, but I'm starting to become more leaning more towards the vegetarian and vegan side, and it's just because I'm losing, for some reason, the taste for meat. I just don't have the taste anymore. And this is coming from someone that barbecued 3 times a week at one point. Chicken, steak, everything. I love it. I mean, I love the smell. When I drive past a barbecue place, it's hard not to just pull over, but I'm starting to lose that. And I don't know if it's, because things are, they seem to taste different. I only get organic meats, but it's like they seem to taste different. So I'm kind of losing. So what I'm going to explore, since you brought that up, is vegan and vegetarian dishes. So it can be a whole new world opened up, and I can learn how to make those things taste as good as the barbecue and and the other stuff I used to love to eat so much.
Yeah, but before you become vegan, you have to try my steak. Before you become vegan,
I have to do
before
what?
you, you have to
What's the name?
try my steak before you
Your steak?
fully.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Listen, if it's one thing I love, is a great steak. So, I'm not on some strict, I can't eat meat diet. I'm leaning more towards that kind of a diet on a daily basis. I almost never eat red meat anymore, but it's just because I haven't had the taste for it. But if you make a great steak, I'll make an exception. Definitely.
So, what was your job before acting?
Wow, I've had many jobs out here. One of the jobs I had for the longest time um, is I did uh, everything from personal training to security for a lot of events and nightclubs. I did nightclub security, a security for Hollywood events, after parties for the Oscars, after parties for the Emmys, after just doing security and being that close, but yet that far away from a lot of those things. It was very interesting, but I learned a lot.
So, did you like your job as security?
Honestly, I mean, if you're not doing what you love, again, it really is work. And the thing about security is you're usually telling people they can't do something. So it's not always a pleasant thing. The thing I liked about it was the camaraderie with a lot of the guys I had the pleasure of working with, fellow actors, a lot of us. And I met some great people doing that, some wonderful people. Hold on a second. I'm gonna plug this PC in. Hold on one second.
Okay. But while you're doing that, hey guys, how's your day been going? A little bit of lag. So, but how's your day been going? Mine's been going great. I've been doing a lot of good stuff. As you heard, I got a new agent. I I just did this for the I just did this for a mentor. I just did this thing for a mentoring group about 2 hours before this thing started. It was a mentoring group called I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a mentoring group. I'm gonna get the name. It's a mentoring group. It mentors young kids, steering them into the right destination. Doing a lot of good stuff. Yes, you're just working. Hi. Oh, thank you. But let me just get the name real quick. But how's your guys' day been going? I haven't heard much comments about that. But guys, by the way, the question and answer part of the thing is just gonna be at when this live hits about maybe 25, maybe 30 minutes in. Hey guys, so I just got disconnected for some weird reason, but it's called Topono Group. It's a mentoring group. You should check it out. Very good. But he's back, the man himself, Keith Burke.
Please forgive me. My cord popped out. Like the cord and I didn't know. So it kept saying my battery was low, and I was like, well, why is my battery low? So anyway, I had to reboot. And that was a whole adventure. Sorry about that, man. So where were we?
I was just telling them about a mentoring group I was in.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I just did that 2 hours before this thing started. And it was great.
That's awesome. That's a wonderful thing.
So,
I mean, it's important for kids to really see what you're doing. So I think that's important so that they know that, anything is possible. Just have to focus.
Yep, you just have to focus. That's hey guys, before we just get back into the questions, can I tell you guys one thing I said? And this could be for everyone in the audience that's trying to reach their dreams. So a lot of people can relate to this that have reached their dreams. It's Tobono Group. It's a Tobono Group. It's the mentoring group, Tobono. But I just said this. I got this from someone else, by the way, but you may be growing a Chinese bamboo tree, and it takes about 4 to 5 years to grow. And you're just watering that thing. It takes 4 to 5 years to sprout out of the ground. But you're just watering that bamboo tree. That's your dream. You keep watering it and watering it. People may just come up and say, "Man, what are you doing? You're just watering the ground. What are you doing?" But you have to keep watering it. And one day you miss it, it may just fall apart. So you just have to keep going at your dream and keep doing it until it sprouts up.
Absolutely. The patience and determination. I don't, when you watch someone building a house, you see them frame it, and then they frame it, and then they put in the floors, and then they continue to add on and add on and add on until it's finally finished and you see a complete vision. But it's interesting, like, sometimes people will be driving by and they'll see the house, the framing of the house, and they go, wow, that looks like that's going to be something, and that's kind of like our lives. But the person building it already knows what they want it to be. They've already had the design, and they know where they want certain things to go, and that's great. But as we see, I tend to watch these HGTV shows. That's one of my guilty pleasures, of watching homes being built. I love that, and it's very inspiring. I see how the different things that come up along the build, where they're having different issues with certain problems with contractors and different things come awry. And it's just like your life. I mean, I look at it and I say, man, that's life. It's like you have this plan, how it wants to look. And then sometimes they say, well, we're going to be able to do this, but we're not going to be able to do that. And it's just compromise and understanding that it's a give and take situation with certain things, as long as the overall goals are met. And so you're absolutely right. You continue to build, you continue to water, and you continue to believe, most importantly. And, they say, what are you supposed to give plants? Love, water, and sunlight. We need light. we need to feel light in our lives. There's a lot of darkness, and it's really a lot of times difficult for a lot of plants to grow in the darkness. Just like you don't see a lot of people doing construction at night. You know, you need some form of light in order to be able to really see things. And I think that that's how us human beings, we thrive on light. We thrive on love. We thrive on good energy, great energy. And so I think it's imperative that we give that to one another, that we are always willing to, to try and impart something positive. Try to leave a person just a little better than you found them, even if it's just a smile, that they weren't expecting. Most of the time, especially, brothers, we walk past each other, we walk towards one another, and we almost like look through one another, like, I don't want any problems. And it's like, no, that's not the way anymore. It's never really should have been, but it is what it is. I think that now, it's about us embracing, the love that we should have for one another. The fact that we should know that when, like they say, two of us or more gathered, there we are, and we're good. It shouldn't be, oh man, how many, it's a bunch of, so-and-so's in here and it's going to be like, that can't be how. We have to change that narrative. So things like this, and seeing, young brothers like yourself doing what you're doing, I'm just so inspired and encouraged by what you're doing. It just really, it makes my heart smile. So continue watering your plant and building your house.
Oh, thank you. So it's time for question answer. Do you want to do question answer?
Absolutely.
Okay. So guys, it's time to put your questions in. So I'll see some from the beginning. Do you still play piano?
I haven't played the piano in quite some time, and I miss it. I really do, because it is such a beautiful instrument.
Like about a week ago, I learned I learned a little bit of spooky scary skeletons on the piano.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great, right? When you learn something and it's like all of a sudden now you can just sit down and you can just play it. And now it almost feels like it's yours too. Now it's yours too, because you know how to play it. And it's just great.
Are you married with kids?
I'm not married. I do have children. Actually, I have 4 boys. My oldest son is 31. He'll be 32 this year. I then have a 26-year-old son who will be 27. And I have a 9-year-old son who will be 10 years old next month. And I have a 12-year-old son named JALEN, who will be 13. He's 12 now, and he'll be 13 in 2021. And so shout out to my sons. They just such a blessing to me. And they make me better. The thing about fatherhood is you kind of get a reflection. You kind of get to look at yourself and see your strengths and some of your weaknesses, because children learn from us by watching us, watch how we do things, watch how we, because it's not about what we say, right? It's about what we do. And so when we fall short, we understand that we're picking ourselves up, not just for ourselves, but for our children, to see us do that so that they understand how to do that, and I'm just grateful for all of them. Dominic is my oldest son. Michael comes after him. And then there's JALEN, and then the youngest is August, Daniel Burke, who is just a whole lot, and a whole lot of wonderful. And I love them all. So I'm grateful for the lessons I continue to learn and be taught by them.
Did you have a different dream as a child?
Yes. Yes, I did. I wanted to be in the NFL. I wanted to go to the Super Bowl. I essentially, I wanted to be a part of that elite club. And so I started playing football when I was 9 years old, and I just knew that was going to happen for me. But three knee operations later, it was time to look towards something else. And my God, thank God acting was there. It didn't cross my mind for a few years, but when it finally came, I found something that filled that hole. Because I was always telling someone, like, nothing's ever going to make me feel good like football did. Nothing's ever going to fulfill that dream that I had. and fill that place. And honestly, acting has done that, and it has been wonderful. I'm grateful to have more than one thing, more than one dream.
What is your exercise regimen?
Well, it used to be go to the gym 3 times a week, try to work out outdoors twice a week, if possible. Since our gyms are shut down out here and we're not able to work out, I have to do most of my workouts from home and the rest outdoors. I can do those. So that's
But
kind
what
of what I do.
exercises
I mean,
are
like
they?
I kind
What
of work.
exercises?
Well, you know, when I'm able to, I would, you do everything from your bench press to bent over rows. You do everything from sit-ups to push-ups. I do different, we challenge ourselves. Like today, I have 200 push-ups to do. Like every day, you'll say, okay, today, and you can break that up. You can do sets of 25 until you get to 400, but it's really important to make sure that whatever you're doing, your form, because you don't want to injure yourself. So you want to create balance. So you can't just work the top of your body and not work the bottom. You want to be able to. The legs are important. That's for those brothers who are lifting 400 pounds and never doing and always skipping leg day. Though, from the looks of IG, I feel like a lot of people are got some pretty good workout regimens and they're pretty balanced. But for me, it's just I do the basics. I was in a car accident last year, so I'm not able to work out as much as I used to. I have to kind of curtail how I do things as I was going through the rehabbing process. As actually was in a car accident on my birthday last year. So it's been a year now, and I'm starting to feel a lot better after a few procedures that I've had done. And so just being stuck in the house, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Just some sit-ups here and there when I'm able to, and I don't go too hard and heavy, but once I get done with this, by the time this pandemic is over, I'll be ready to go back full steam ahead, God willing.
What college did you attend?
Well, the School of Hard Knocks is probably the most well known. I really had a very interesting youth. You know, I was all over the place and in and out of school, so there really isn't. I don't want to give this. I don't want to create this facade like I'm this college educated. Everything came out of that. Like for me, most of my education as far as acting came from Freedom Theater, which is a local theater company in Philadelphia. And it's not just local. It was kind of created by James Allen for us. Um, and Walter Dallas, who was a Yale school graduate, was in charge of. He was the artistic director at the time that I was there, and I had the privilege of working with some amazing coaches and teachers there that really, really, really helped me to move forward. In actually, it was one of the teachers there, Robert Hubbard, who told me at the time, because I was thinking about going to New York and pounding the pavement and saying, hey, I'll do some theater and see what happens from there and see if I can get an agent, go on some go sees or whatever. And he was like, no, that's not what you should do. What you should do is go to LA and become get on television and film. He's like, you can do it. I believe in you. And just hearing that and having some connections out here to at the time, a good friend of mine worked for Will Smith, and so I was able to come out and go up on set, and I had Will and our paths crossed a few times through the neighborhoods and through our school dances and stuff like that. And he was always very kind, very generous individual with his time, and he allowed us to just a buddy of mine that I came to LA with. He allowed us to just be at the studio and learn and watch. And James Avery, who we all call Uncle Phil, I mean, real talk, he was a godsend, and he imparted some real life lessons in terms of information, things for me to remember. He's like, he gave me a gang of advice that I didn't follow, and then realized that he had gave me the right advice, and then I had to double back and do things that he had told me to do. And as a result of a lot of those things, my life started to move forward, and as far as my career.
So, is there any scenes that you have been comfortable doing?
Uncomfortable. I think, I've done stuff where I've been violent toward, I did a film years ago, and it was about domestic violence. It wasn't Life and Lemons, but and I was violent in it towards a woman. And I have to say, um, I was very uncomfortable. But I find that fine. I find it's okay to be uncomfortable. I mean, you can acknowledge that you're uncomfortable, but your job as an actor is really to service the character. And I think if you read a script and you find that it's something that really doesn't sit well with you, then you probably shouldn't do it, because you're going to do a disservice to the character. It's really important to separate yourself from the character that you're playing. And it's really important that if you're going to do it and undertake it, yeah, you're going to feel that level of discomfort in the process. But we feel uncomfortable with some of the things we do in life. When we're doing them, we don't feel comfortable. But it's what we want to do in that moment, or we feel compelled to do in that moment. And so, there's been some things that I've been uncomfortable about, but never to the degree where I felt like I had made a mistake.
Who have you worked with that made an impact in your
The greatest
life?
impact. Wow. I mean, I've worked with some really amazing people, and I'm so grateful for that. Like I said, James Avery. I worked with Loretta Devine. Was an amazing opportunity to work with her. I worked with Vanessa Bell Calloway. I've worked with wow, Ernest Thomas. I've worked with it's just working with those legends. Like, you're talking about people who I grew up watching, and I name those people because they were such an integral part of television and film when I was, and they still are. But when I was growing up, they were in it. And it was like, when I finally got a chance to work with these people, I mean, it was, and I could go on and go on, but I was just really blown away at the knowledge that they imparted, the advice that they imparted, and just their willingness to meet you halfway and be open to helping you get where you were looking to go. I think those are some names of some people that I really, really enjoyed working with. And honestly, Crystal Fox on the Have and the Have Nots, an absolute joy. They just Peter Peros, and all the whole cast. I mean, but honestly, those first, I think, 4 or 5 people I named, those were people that before I had this opportunity, they were very generous with their advice and their positive feedback on different things that I was doing.
I hope to get to meet them one day.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, though. Great people, and very, very talented, inspiring artists.
Okay, these are the last 3 questions
Okay.
from the audience. Are you into music? What kind?
Love music. Love soul music. I love all kinds of music, but my first love is soul music. Um, from the 60s, 70s, the old school, everything from the Temptations to the Jacksons, from, New Edition to, even now, the artists, I love rock. I mean, I liked Van Halen. I liked, hip hop. Love hip hop. From the beginning, though, I was the big Public Enemy and that movement. Tupac Shakur. Like, Tupac was probably my favorite solo hip hop artist of all time, hands down. And to see what he did with acting and activism was beyond inspiring to me as well. So he's definitely number one in my book in the hip hop category. But as far as my first love, what's my go to? I love R&B.
You know what I love? I love the whispers.
Yeah. I was, yeah, I love the Whispers. Love the Whispers. I've seen the Whispers in concert in Atlantic City. Long time ago. Long time ago. But Atlantic City, New Jersey, at one of the casinos. I went to a concert to see the Whispers and I had a great time. And it was a great show.
Have you experienced the joy of live theater?
Love theater. I come from the theater. Um, I was doing a lot of plays before I started uh, booking television shows, and there's nothing like live theater. The energy in the moment is just nothing like it. It's like, you love film because they can piece it and put it together and edit and make it beautiful, and that's great. Love that. But when you're like doing live theater, it doesn't matter if it's a 40-seat theater or 400. When you feel that energy from the audience and when you're just caught in that moment, it's like everybody's in agreement or disagreement with what's happening on stage. You can feel that energy and it's infectious. I love live theater. And I love going to see live theater as well.
Yeah. I once was in a Zoom theater.
Oh wow. See, I haven't seen that yet. And I see people doing Zoom projects and I just haven't had the opportunity to check any out. And I'm definitely interested in doing so.
Okay, last two questions.
Okay.
Are your sons following your footsteps with acting?
None. Ha! None. It's funny, and that doesn't mean that they won't. Well, I know the older two won't. That's probably not their get down, and that's fine. But the younger two, I don't see that's going to be something they want to do, and it's ironic because they all could, and they all definitely commercially and print and things like that. But I think sometimes when something is that close to you, you don't have an interest for whatever reason. They have interest in the things that they have interest in. And I support whatever they want to do. I think you should do what makes you happy, what brings you happiness, what makes you feel fulfilled. And that, along the way, at some point, you're able to make a living doing it, and a good one.
Yeah, you have to make a living with that. I make a living with acting.
There you go. You see? And that's the point. It's like, it's there, you know, like like some people say, oh, my first job, whether it's if you have just a job doing whatever, right? It's a lot of times it seems like because it's TV, it's like this magic box and it seems beyond reach, but it's just life. And it's like anything you want, it's a process to getting to it. And I think that, you just have to get to a place where you find the joy and the peace in what you're doing. And acting, I think this, any art allows you to truly move come from your soul, and it starts when you're young. The younger you start, I say the better. Explore things while you're in a situation where you don't have to make a living from it. And then here it is, you're making a living, and you're not in a position where you have to worry about, okay, am I going to make rent this month, or am I going to be able to make my car note, or things like that. And so it's a great time to start finding your way, learning your way, because when you get to be an adult and you have to start taking care of those and you have those responsibilities, you don't want to have to sacrifice your love, your art for that. You want to find a way to do both. And that's why, like, again, doubling back to security, I did security because it was always at night. The jobs I took always took place at night because I had to keep my days free for auditions. So it's a sacrifice. And then now, with the internet and TikTok and all these different things that people are doing, there's so many different ways to get streams of income. It's just different than when I first came to LA. So people really have no excuses. Just go for it. I mean, I like someone once said, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I'm still on part of my journey because we all bring our unique voice. I don't care if we look similar. We still are who we are. You bring your essence to every project that you undertake, and the next person, and I bring my essence to whatever I undertake. So there's room for everyone.
Yes. So, last audience question.
All right.
How do you feel about the state of our nation seeing that you have four young men what advice would you give to them?
Wow, that's a loaded one right there. Well, I tell you what this election has taught us. It definitely has shown me that an enormous, even more than I could have fathomed, amount of this country is not in the corner of men and women who look like me. Now, there's plenty who are, but there's millions now that we know on record who are not. And that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. I think it takes a certain mentality to watch people that look like me be murdered, children, in cold blood by grown men, and still vote for someone who has no apathy for those people. You know, and you can't make it about taxes, even if you want to. I mean, we all want to save some money, but what good is a black man saving a dime if his son's going to get his brains blown out by a police officer? You know, I found that a lot of us who look like us voted against us. You know, and while one candidate is not going to solve all our issues, and it's such a loaded question, but what I will say is this: our current president, until we find out who the new one is, has made it clear that he has no love for us, that he has absolutely no love for our kind, and he has absolutely zero sympathy for our plight on any level. So if you can hear those words come out of his mouth and then color in his name on the ballot, then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, like, what am I? Because you can't be a human being and be all right with children being in cages. You can't be a human being and be all right with someone telling a man to grab a woman in her private area. You can't be a human being and be all right with people trying to run people off the road because they're just trying to, you know, support their candidate. These are the things that we're dealing with. And more policing isn't the answer. And someone that supports that is not supporting you. So I'm heartbroken. I tell my sons, you know, in the end, you do right regardless, because there is no guarantee how you're going to leave this earth. When it comes to the police, all you can do is follow procedure. It means nothing to them, as far as I'm concerned. But if I'm gonna die right. Now, with that being said, I'm, you know, as a father of those four, you know, when fathers start sacrificing, and I'm not telling anyone what to do with their life, but if I brought you in this world, I can take you out, can come out of my mouth, then I brought you in this world, I can take out who takes you out, will come out of my mouth. And when we live by that, if I'm willing to die for my son who was right and who was murdered, then he should, you know, understand that this is where we are. The rules change when you're at war and when someone has declared war on your community. I just tell them, do right. You get pulled over, put your hands on the wheel, you know, don't give them a hard time. Don't make a tough job, because regardless, a police officer has a tough job. It's just that unfortunately they're not trained. A lot of them aren't trained well, and a lot of them come in with preconceived notions about other races. And when that is supported, and you know, I tell them that this country is really divided in the sense of we're always looked at as the worst of it, and the media and different things are manipulated to show us the worst parts of ourselves. I tell them to go more by, you know, in terms of, you know, yes, you can be anything whatsoever. There are no limits. I don't care. I would never tell my son the country isn't ready for this or the country isn't ready for that. You know, I remember there were years ago and somebody said the country's not ready for a black president, and I thought that was the most egregious thing I'd ever heard. And you know, you go down the line 10 plus more years, and then we have President Obama. So it's not about color. It's not about being ready. What do we get ready for? So I tell them, go after your dreams, but don't live in fear. Don't antagonize the situation, but don't be a victim either. So there, you know, it's a balancing act. It's about knowing that there's a lot of times, just like on your job, you're gonna have to bite your tongue. There's gonna be a lot of times that you just follow a procedure even when it feels like your rights are being disrespected. And I just tell them, just do as much right as you can. But at the end of the day, you're not a victim by virtue of your color or race. And so, therefore, don't act like one, don't feel like one, and don't move like one. I mean, I'm long winded sometimes, but I hope I got to a point that that made some sense.
Yes, it made sense. A ton of sense.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
I have this question before the question answer. Is there any actor that you'd like to work with, like your dream actor that you like to work with from the start?
I mean, honestly, the easiest to act, it's real easy. Like for me, growing up, my favorite actor was Denzel Washington. And it would, I just would. I think anything that he puts his hands on, uh, whether it's from producing to directing to acting, it's just, I'm always inspired by it. So he's definitely someone I would love to act with. Don Cheadle, another amazing actor. And Michael B. Jordan, he new school coming up, coming strong, bringing it. And hats off to that brother. He's really making it happen as well. But those two, like, I could go on. I have such a list of favorite actors, but there's also wanting to work with. I had a pleasure of working with Regina King, and that was really awesome. I think she's an amazing actor, and it was just a wonderful experience. And she's also someone I would love to have the opportunity to work with again.
So, is there any other thing you want to tell us before you get off?
Well, I'd just like to say, first and foremost, thank you for giving me this time. Thank you for supporting and being a part of my journey and my dream. I will continue to hopefully make you inspired and proud of the work that I do. And hopefully, as the man and the things that I'll do with my life, it's a journey. Like I said, every time you fall down, you just get back up and you just keep going. None of us are perfect, and we all are in this journey to just hopefully find some peace, to find our place, to be part of the solution. And so I hope to do this with you guys again, and to have some new projects and some new things that I'm doing to share with you, and to continue to be inspired. So thank you, and God bless.
Oh, thank you. And you're an amazing person.
Thank you, Jalen. So are you. You have inspired
And
me today. You've challenged me today in the way that I think we all adults need to be challenged when we're interviewed and when we're just having conversation. I know my sons challenged me, and you make me feel that the world and this country and our people, we're moving in the right place. When I see young men and women that move the way you move, I'm inspired, and I feel really good that we're going to be in good hands. The world's going to be in good hands. So continue doing what you're doing, and thanks again.
thank you. And once again, can you tell us where we can find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, please. Instagram. That seems to be a big deal, and so I'm working on my following and continue to showcase my work there at Keith_Burke_official. I'm also on Twitter, but I don't really tweet a lot. That's Keith Burke 2300, which is really to 3000. And I'm also on Facebook, but please, Instagram, I beg you. Instagram, that's kind of where I do the most damage. So thank you again in advance.
And just thank you for coming on. Real thank you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's been wonderful speaking with you and meeting your mom, and just seeing how you are both moving this forward, and continue success.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Take care, everybody. Blessings.
Just thank you for all the wonderful audience and well, Facebook. And Jalen says, by the way, go subscribe to my YouTube channel Jalen says live show, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe. And cash out Jalen Cat so I could get more equipment, so I could be doing more of this stuff. And thank you, subscribe, and good night. Stay tuned.
Alrighty.